everyone. We are going to talk a little bit about persistence this morning before you get into your work sprint. And before we do that, I just want to go over our discussion norms really quickly, the ones that you all established at the beginning of the year. I know they're all important and you've had a lot of practice with them and you're great at them, but we are constantly trying to improve. And in order to really work on them, we want to choose just one to focus on in our discussion today. So I'll read them to you real fast. Provide evidence and reasoning, listen with an open mind and consider new evidence, take a stand, don't be in the middle, listen carefully, don't interrupt, do not distract, and be concise. Is there one that somebody feels strongly about focusing on today? Reagan?
I think the one that we should focus on today is the listening carefully and not distracting.
All right, does anyone have another vote? Raya?
I think we can also take a stand since we might have different opinions.
Okay, so between listening and not interrupting and taking a stand, we have to choose. So if you want to focus on listening today, let's see that. And if you want to focus on taking a stand. Okay, we'll do take a stand another day. And still, please do take a stand, you must. But we will focus on really listening carefully today and not interrupting as we go through our discussion. All right, so the definition of persistence is continuing a behavior in spite of opposition, obstacles, or discouragement. So who are my cat lovers? All right, here's one for you. All right, dog lovers. And how about nature lovers? All right, now that we've seen a few examples from animals and trees, how about some examples from your own lives? Does anyone have an example of persistence from their own lives that they'd be willing to share? Vanessa?
Well, my passion is gymnastics, so I'm very committed into it. So I like going through, well, in gymnastics, you go through obstacle courses to like get into a new skill. So I'm very persistent about gymnastics.
All right, you literally have to continue in the face of obstacles.
Yeah.
Awesome. Reagan?
I'd love to piggyback on what Vanessa was saying. I also love basketball, so I'm very persistent in that sport. So I have to practice every day, and like even one day of missing practice can definitely affect your like skill level the next day. So you have to have persistence when you're doing that sport.
Awesome. Does anyone have an example of a time where you chose not to persist? Where you actually decided, right now, I think I should give up? Yeah. Ty?
A time where I decided not to persist was when I started trying to play this instrument that I didn't really like, but I decided to try it out because I might like it. I started playing it and I ended up hating it. My stubby little fingers were too small. So, yeah.
Thank you. So I'd like you each to think about something right now in your life where you want to improve. Something, you have a goal, you maybe are good at it but want to be better, or you're not good at it yet and you want to be, and you know it is going to take persistence. So think about something, and I'd love each of you actually to share. And let's go ahead and have Vanessa start, and then Vanessa, you can call on someone. If you're ready after Vanessa's done speaking, you can raise your hand and she'll call on you.
So I've now started playing the ukulele, and I'm not that good yet, but I'm very persistent now. I'm practicing, and hopefully I get better. So I'm very excited about that, and I love playing the ukulele. It's my new passion.
Well, I hope we get to hear that someday.
Yeah. Can I call on Zane?
Yeah. So I am not good at time management, okay? So for me to fix that, I put timers, and now whenever I'm doing something and the timer goes off, I switch to some other subject for school.
So today in your work, do you think it is more important to focus on your SMART goal or to make sure you have a clean, tidy space free of distractions? Which one of those things do you think will help you best in persisting and getting the work that you've committed to done? So finger on your nose if it's focusing on your SMART goal, and hand on your head if it's making sure you have that clean, tidy space to work in. All right, Zane, would you share why you've chosen your SMART goal?
I chose SMART goal because I feel like it's easier for me to know my goal than just to have to sit around in a clean, tidy space. I need to know what to do and when to do it, instead of like sitting around in a clean, tidy space without knowing what to do.
Reagan, I saw your hand up. What did you want to say?
I actually chose to have a nice and clean space to do work that's free of distractions, because if you have distractions, you won't be able to do your work. And if you have a messy room, that won't really motivate you to do your goal. I definitely think both are really good, but if I have to focus on one, I think a space that's free of distractions is best, because when you're doing your work, you don't want to be distracted. You want to get your work done. So
now imagine you're working. You have your clean space or your goal or both, but at least one of those that really lets you, makes you able to focus and stick with what you're doing. But your cell phone buzzes and you look down and it's your best friend and says, I need to talk to you immediately. It can't wait. Now with your SMART goal or your clean, tidy space, what do you do? Brooklyn?
I would probably quickly see what's going on, and depending on what's happening, if it's something that's actually really bad, that actually someone needs to do something about it, then I would tell someone about it, or try and help that person. But if it was just something that's not really that big of a deal, then I would just tell the person that I had to keep doing my work.
Does anyone have a different response that they would take? Vanessa?
Honestly, I disagree, and I'd rather do the more important things rather than checking on them.
And why is that?
Because I feel like it's more important, but maybe they could wait a little bit and I'll go back after. I'll definitely check up on them, but maybe it depends on the thing, what's happening, what I'm doing in that spot. But I'll for sure check on them later on, but yeah, I'll definitely do the more important thing.
Were you more focused on your SMART goal or on the clean, tidy space?
On my SMART goal. But I do agree that a clean, tidy space is very necessary to proceed on your SMART goal, but yeah, SMART goal.
Did anyone change their mind, or now thinking after this conversation and hearing each other, does anyone think that they want to change which they think is more important, having a SMART goal or a clean, tidy space? Raya?
I think if we're referencing to the phone example, then maybe a SMART goal would be important, because it's definitely a distraction, and the SMART goal would kind of keep you on track. Because say my SMART goal was to finish my homework in 30 minutes, that text could delay that and could make me not achieve my SMART goal. So I might be more motivated to do my homework and finish what's important if I had a SMART goal instead of a clean and tidy space. But I do still definitely believe that both are necessary to accomplish a goal.
Well, I think that we could probably talk all morning, but I know that you do need to get to your SMART goals and perhaps spend some time creating a clean, tidy space before you do that. So I will let you begin your work sprint. But I did want to say we chose listening and not interrupting as the focus for this discussion from our norms. And I think you all did an amazing job. Whether or not, I mean, changing the fact that someone talked about changing their mind, that really indicates in a discussion, if you change your mind, you obviously were listening. And if you didn't change your mind, it doesn't mean you weren't listening. But as I always think that's like a really good sign of, oh, well, you know, you're really listening if you were willing to change your mind afterwards. So I thought that was a great discussion, and I appreciate you all engaging. Reagan, we have our one-on-one first. So we'll teleport to my office, and I'll see you all back in this main Zoom room in 40 minutes. Good luck persisting.